Hey guys, Marsinger here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so the LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku banner is coming out tomorrow morning for me, late tonight, depending on where you are in the US, or very early in the morning potentially on Global. Going to be coming out very, very soon. It's like 10.5 hours, I think, from the time this video goes up. This video goes up at 8 PM UK time. The banner comes out at 6:30 AM UK time. So I will be live to stream summons. So hopefully I will see you guys there. But the point of this video, as I'm sure you know from the title and the thumbnail, is a summon or skip. Should you summon for LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, or should you skip the banner? I wanted to start off by going through what the unit does, and then we'll talk about the banner as well as the things that are going to be coming up in the future. So LR Super Saiyan 4 Goku, he is a Dokkan Fest LR, so red coin banner. He has a 200% leader skill. GT heroes or full power get the 3 key and 170, and then pure Saiyans or hybrid Saiyans get the extra 30%. So he doesn't have the best leader skill. You definitely can make a strong team out of his lead, but I wouldn't say his leader skill ranks among the best ones in the game. The main strength of this unit is, of course, how strong he is himself, not as a leader. So he, of course, has 2 super attacks, being an LR. The 12 key raises defense for 1 turn, does colossal damage and greatly lowers attack. The 18 key raises defense for 4 turns, does mega colossal damage, so you can get a couple of turns build up off of that, which is very good. He gets 3 key, attack and defense 150. He gets 1 extra key sphere when 1 extra key per key sphere obtained, which is a very good mechanic for an LR, obviously, right? You want to hit those 18 key supers as consistently as possible. He also gets an additional 70% attack and a high chance to crit when performing a super attack. So he has 50% chance to crit built into his kit, so you essentially do not need to give him any crit in the hidden potential system, right? He's always going to have bare minimum 50%. So he is going to be a full additional unit, right? So he also gains an additional 70% attack within the same turn and defense 70% for 3 turns after evading an attack or receiving an attack. So whether he gets hit or dodges, he gets that buff, which is really, really good. He has 20% damage reduction, and then he gets an extra 70% defense and an extra 20% damage reduction if he is the first attacker in the turn. So very, very good setup. Now, the thing you have to be very careful of, when you see this part of his passive where he can dodge in order to get the extra attack and defense for 3 turns, that seems all well and good. You might be thinking, oh, is this a unit that, you know, give him a dodge build? Now, we look at the standby. He can have a standby where you exchange into Oob for 4 turns, and you build up charge counters in order to transform him into full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. However, this can only be activated after receiving 5 or more attacks. So if you give this guy a full dodge build, you'll get this thing up part of his passive activating where he gets extra attack and extra dodge chance if he dodges, but then you won't get the build up for his standby. And whilst this unit is very, very good as the Super Saiyan 4 Goku, you want him to become Super Full Power Saiyan 4. Yeah, Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, right? So he receives 5 attacks, and then you stand by into Marjube. Marjube obviously doesn't have an attack. He's one of those standbys where he just doesn't attack. He gets 300% defense, 10% damage reduction per type key sphere obtained, and guards with 3 or more orbs obtained. So as long as you pick up 10 orbs, which I know is not always super common, he has 100% damage reduction. And then guards as well, because you not that matters at that point, right? But he also changes key. So all allies key +3 in defense 70% for 2 turns, which is also really good, right? Affects the next rotation after him as well. Randomly changes 1 key sphere of a certain type, int excluded, into int. So he's creating orbs for himself, and if you get enough orbs, he gets enough damage reduction that he literally can't take damage, which is pretty crazy. And he also nullifies unarmed super attacks, which is pretty cool. So overall, very, very good. Defensive powerhouse, buffs the rotation as well as the next rotation for defense as well. So very, very good. And then once you've built up your charge counters, if you fire it off at 29% or less, you get a 30% heal, 3 key for 3 turns, and you go back to being base Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Or if you get 30 charges or more, you evolve into full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and this is what you want to see, right? This is the unit we want. He raises attack and defense for 1 turn, does colossal damage on the 12 key, greatly raises attack and defense for 4 turns, Well, greatly raised attack is for 1 turn, raised defense for 4 turns on the 18 key. He recovers 77% HP, because it's obviously coming off after the standby. He guards all attacks for 1 turn, So in that first turn that he comes out, he has guard. He gets a guaranteed crit for 3 turns as well. So the first turn he comes out and then the next rotation as well. Key 7, attack and defense 200%, 2 key per rainbow orb, sorry, plus 2. So that means an int orb gives him 4 key and a rainbow orb gives him 3. And then he gets an additional +1 from other type orbs as well. So crazy, right? Once he comes out as full power Goku, you're not missing those 18 key supers, right? So he gets an additional 150 attack when performing a super, great chance to crit if it's an ultra super, which pretty much always going to be. So yet again, no reason to give him crit in the hidden potential, because once you've transformed into full power, he has a 70% chance to crit. He also gets an additional 59% attack and a guaranteed crit if you get to 24 key. Then you get an additional 77% defense for 5 turns after dodging or receiving an attack, damage reduction of 25%, and then 77% extra and 25% extra damage reduction as the first attacker in the turn. So he is an absolute powerhouse of a unit. If you get full power Super Saiyan 4 Goku out, he just goes crazy. Very, very strong defensively, very high attack stats, gives you that heal, which is nice. Just very, very good unit. So yeah, I think he's very powerful. I personally am really looking forward to pulling him and using him in a bunch of the different content. And then of course his banner unit is this tech baby. Now unfortunately, as baby units often are, he is quite restricted in that the large majority of his passive comes from pure Saiyan or hybrid Saiyan enemies. So he greatly raises attack and defense on super, which is good. Key 3 attack and defense 150. Additional attack and defense 100% when performing a super. So far so good. Then he gets an additional 100% defense, attacks guaranteed to hit, guaranteed crit, and guaranteed stun when there is a pure Saiyan or hybrid Saiyan, which unfortunately we just don't get a lot of relevant events where we have that, right? Things like the anniversary special battle, you know, things like GT bosses, challenges in the Goku event, like things like this will be kind of cool, but it's just not like something that you're going to see across the game. He also gets additional 3 key and 180% attack when there's a pure Saiyan enemy, and then also the same if there's a hybrid Saiyan enemy. So in the rare occasions like Super Battle Road stages and stuff where you get both, he's going to get 6 key and 360% attack, which is insane, but just not something that's really ever going to happen very often. So as a side banner unit, considering he doesn't give support and isn't, you know, going to get his buffs in most of the relevant content, unfortunately, he is a bit of a dud for a banner unit. I mean, he's not even going to be on most of the teams that Goku is on. He's, you know, a super unit with an extreme class side banner unit. So obviously no one's going to be summoning for this guy. If you pull this guy and not Goku, that'd be kind of disappointing. He's just kind of there, right? So this is the banner as it appeared on JP. We obviously have Goku and Baby as the new units, and then the featured units were Vegeta and Trunks, the Tech Gogeta, the Physical Blue Boys, Gamma 1, Gamma 2, Tech Pan, Tech Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and Int Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Now, the Tanabata banner usually doesn't change for Global from JP, so I would expect the banner to be the same. The only thing that could potentially happen, and I know it's probably copium at this point, we are still waiting on Global for God Goku to return for the first time, the Saiyan Day unit. But I don't think they'll put him on this banner solely for the fact that I think they know, especially because of like the sales on JP and stuff, they know that a lot of people are hyped for Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I feel like Goku's God Goku is going to return on the Trunks Dokkan Fest banner, the Tech Trunks, because they know people aren't as hyped to summon on that banner. But this banner is still very good, right? Vegeta and Trunks are still very good, still usable in all the new difficult content that came out in the Worldwide Celebration. Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 can still be really good as well. Pan can be somewhat usable in some events. Same with Tech Full Power Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Unfortunately, Tech Gogeta, the Physical Blue Boys, and Int Gogeta are pretty much aged out of being useful in any relevant content at this point. But all 3 of those units are still units that don't have their EZAs, and will probably start to get them within the next year or so. So if you pulled copies of them and you actually needed them, like you didn't have those units at all, or you just didn't have them rainbow, they're not necessarily the worst pulls in the world. I feel like we could see the Physical Blue Boys EZA like sooner rather than later, and I have a feeling like they could be very good. Their base kit is already really good to work with, so they should be very, very strong. Now, the other important thing to think about when deciding whether to summon or not on the banner is the discounts that this banner should have. So we can take a look at the banner from last year with the Vegeta and Trunks. This banner did not change from JP either, which is where we kind of get that feeling from that it's not going to. Now this banner as you can see, 3 rounds only, 3 or more multi-summons to get one free, and those rotations were discounted. So it was like 30, 35, and then 45, I think. Basically 110 stones got you 3 multis, and then you got a free one. And you could do that 3 times. So 330 stones for 12 multis. 12 multis would normally be 600 stones, and you're getting them for 330. Now, that is incredibly good value. When it comes to summoning or not on this banner, I feel like as long as you've got the stones to spare, the 330 stone discount rotations should be an absolute given, right? Now, if you have every single unit on this banner rainbowed, except for obviously, you know, the 2 new units, maybe it's a bit more of a risk for sure. But Goku is very, very good. And for me personally, I find it very difficult to turn down discounted summons. Now, when we think about why all the reasons to maybe not summon, we have to think about what could be coming up in the future. So we know Dragon Ball Heroes is going to be coming out in just under 3 weeks. Now, those characters are fun. They're very exciting, like unique characters. We don't yet know what their kits are. Heroes characters do have a history of not aging particularly well. As much as you guys know, I love Heroes. We're pushing the Heroes agenda all this month on the channel. But if you're a newer player, or you're someone who's free to play or doesn't spend a lot, doing, for example, the discounted rotations on the Goku banner is going to potentially get you some of these really strong big ticket characters like Goku, Vegeta and Trunks, the Gammas. Now, Heroes you're going to get guaranteed featured on every multi, but because we don't know what the units do yet, you know, last year the Heroes team, the Heroes banner very much required you to pull basically enough units to build a full team in order for it to be as strong as possible, right? So there's value there in the guarantee featured, whereas Goku, you could do all 12 of those multis for the 330 stones and just get nothing useful to you at all, which is always the risk when it's summoning anyway, right? Now, obviously, all players, if you've been doing your daily missions, will have free tickets to summon on this banner. Global will pretty much get purchasable tickets as they always do. They weren't in the data download earlier today because they're already in the game, because we've been getting them for free with the missions. We do also have the upcoming events and missions, like we talked about it in the data download, where there's some extra tickets available from that as well. So everyone's going to get some free summons, and I'm sure someone out there will end up pulling Goku off of those free tickets. But when it comes to the crux of the video, summon or skip, I normally say this at the beginning, but obviously this advice is mainly for people that are free to play or don't spend very much on the game. If you're a whale or a collector, or you just love Super Saiyan 4, you're probably going to summon regardless of what I say. But to sum it all up, I do think the discounted summons are probably worth doing if you can spend the stones. Now, if you're somebody who's all aboard for the Heroes agenda, like I know a lot of you guys watching videos on my channel are, I do think if you can spare the stones, doing a rotation or 2 or all 3 on Goku's banner is going to be very good. Mainly for how good Goku should be with the new Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4s, the Vegito and Broly. Obviously, normal Super Saiyan 4 Vegito and Broly are getting their Easy A's this year as well. So it's going to be a fun time for making Super Saiyan 4 centric teams. And this Goku is a very, very powerful unit that can hold down slot 1 reasonably well. Like if we find out the Limit Breaker Vegito and Broly details and they're both slot 2 units, they're both going to massively benefit from having this Goku around. Now, the one thing I will say is we don't know the exact dates yet. We'll find out when the banner actually comes out, we'll find out when the celebration info comes out in a few hours time. But this banner should hopefully still be up when we get the Heroes details. I mean, actually, it should be up when we get the details. It should be up when the Heroes banner comes out. But if it's not, we will have at least seen the Heroes details online when this banner is still up. So you could decide to wait to see what the Heroes cards are going to do before you decide to summon on Goku. The only problem with that, of course, that you have to remember is that the 3+1, I believe, is time gated, right? And I don't know if the discounts are as well, because it's discounted and it's 3+1. So I believe it is still time gated. So the problem is you don't want to wait to see what the Heroes units do, decide you don't want to summon for them and summon for Goku, but then you've missed out on the extra summons or anything, right? So it's a pretty tricky situation to be in. I do think Goku is definitely worth summoning for. I am looking forward to getting him and using him. Obviously, you know, as a content creator and a bit of a whale, I'm going to try and get Goku and get all the Heroes units, but I think Goku is worth summoning for. He's very fun, still very good in the difficult content that we have now. So I think he is worth summoning for, at least with the discounts. Obviously, if you spend money on the game, there's the purchasable ticket packs. I'm kind of hoping that in the purchasable tickets and the 330 like discount rounds, I managed to get him. And then I think I might save until we've done summoning for heroes and then maybe go off back onto the banner for dupes, right? Because I don't want to use too many stones on Goku and then have a really hard time rainbowing one or two of the particular heroes units. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What is your plan? Are you all in for Super Saiyan 4 Goku? Are you saving for heroes? I do think that is a good strategy if you're interested in heroes, right? Kind of what I was saying. Try and get that one copy of Goku if you can, then wait, summon on heroes, and then maybe go back for dupes for Goku if the banner is still going to be up then. So let me know what you guys are planning to do down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.